Can we talk about the moment when you know you should go for something really big? Like you've got an opportunity and maybe it's just fallen in your lap, or maybe an idea comes to you and you know that this is it, that you should really go for it, but you don't. You overthink it. You wait. You tell yourself you need more time, more clarity, more confidence. And then the moment passes, and sometimes you forget about your idea altogether. Not because you weren't capable, but because it felt too risky. And most people think confident people just aren't scared, but that's not true at all. They've just learned how to move with risk instead of avoiding it. So today, I want to help you get more comfortable with taking risks without feeling reckless or overwhelmed or out of control, because growth doesn't come from avoiding risk, it comes from learning how to handle it. Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's episode. We are sticking with our theme on getting out of your comfort zone, and today is getting comfortable with risk taking. I'm Belinda Ellsworth. I'd love it if you'd hit subscribe. If you like what you hear today, don't forget to share it with somebody. That would be really awesome. So today, let's talk about getting over that fear or just getting comfortable with taking risks. The very first thing that I want to encourage everyone to do, even before we get into our tips and dive into this a little bit deeper, I covered a little bit of this on Monday, but if you're just joining us for the first time, this is an important piece of this. The very first thing when you get an idea is you should, especially if you're feeling like, a little bit nervous, is you want to write it out. And I am a big advocate of writing it out, like physically writing it out instead of typing it in or putting it in your computer. I think that the art of writing just helps you to be more intimate with it and understand it, remember it, think it through. It's kind of an amazing exercise. And sometimes it's just getting it out. Not that you can't type it up, and if that's easier for you, that's fine too. I just like writing. I know that when I want to write even an email to someone, that I will sit, and sometimes when I'm really upset or I'm thinking about doing something crazy, I'll type the whole entire thing out and then sometimes never send it. And that's okay, because it's just really good to get things out. So start with making a pros and cons list. Here's my idea. What are the good things? What are the benefits that could come from this? If I actually acted out on this and I took a leap of faith, what would be the benefits? What are the pros? What could actually happen if I did this? And then you're going to list your cons. Now, in most cases, your pros are going to far outweigh your cons. That's why doing this exercise is so important. A lot of times I'll do this and I'll have 10 pros and maybe 3 cons. And then I realize there really isn't that much that can go wrong here. Or then I asked myself. So after I do that, do your pros and cons, and then ask yourself 2 questions. What's the worst thing that could happen? Like if the whole thing failed, what would be the worst thing that could happen? And then after you do that, then ask yourself, can I live with that? Or how would I overcome that? Can I recover from that? Because it could be a financial risk, right? So can I recover from that? And then the next piece is, what could be the best outcome? What's the best thing that could happen if I acted on this? And again, if you can live with the worst and the best thing far outweighs the worst thing that could happen, this is a good indicator that you need to move forward. So then you want to just come up with sort of a plan of action steps that you want to take. What are the first steps that I would need to take? Now, remember, when we're going to step out on taking a risk or getting out of our comfort zone, we don't have to have the whole thing figured out at one time. But we do need to know, where are we going to take action? What are some of the first steps that we are going to do? One of the things, if I've got a strong idea, I shared this on Monday, but I like to run it by a group of people. And it should be people that are going to be honest with you, but at the same time are positive with you. So they're not just going to say, oh gosh, that I would never do that. Like, I don't even know how you come up with these ideas. I would be scared out of my mind. That's not the person that you want to be going to. You want to go to some people that you admire, people that have done things themselves, people that are in business, people that understand what it is you're trying to accomplish. So you want to get some feedback. I also think if it's a product that you're thinking about starting with, then go to some existing customers that you've had and ask them, is this something you would buy? What would you like to see with it? Because a lot of times they can give you really great feedback. The one thing that a lot of times when people don't succeed or a product doesn't take off, it's like, who did you run this by? I always ask companies when I'm consulting with them, well, who did you ask? What kind of feedback did you get on this? Oh, we didn't. Like 9 times out of 10, which I'm always blown away by, is people didn't get any feedback at all. So it's good to get feedback. Then what I really want you to do is you're going to have 2 separate lists that you are going to create. This is going to help you to take that risk. And that is, what are some of the first action steps that I need to take? So what are some things that you're going to need to sort of get in line or learn about or figure out? Like, do you need a manufacturer? Like if you're building a product. So do I need a manufacturer? What's my competition? How much of it is already out there? And it doesn't matter if somebody's already doing it. If you can find a better or different way to do it, it's okay. But if it's flooded, then you might want to say, oh, I thought that my idea was just so unique. So that's always a good thing to check out. So what kind of steps do you need to take? Do you need to get a website ready? Do you need to, what are the main things that you're going to need to take action with? Then on the other side of the coin, I want you to list, okay, what are my, what could possibly go wrong? What could possibly go wrong? When you have already worked out challenges that you might incur, so what challenges might I have pop up, right? If you can already sort of work those out in your brain before they even happen, when they happen, you're not thrown for a loop. Like a lot of people never think about what would I do if this happens? What would I do if this happens? So then when it happens, they're like, oh my gosh, I should have never done this. Or this is all wrong. But if you've already written it out and you've already thought about what your solution is, you're going to be like, okay, I know exactly what I'm going to do. So it's a mindset piece, but it's also a preparedness for you to be able to feel more comfortable and to feel like, okay, I've got this. I thought that something like this might occur. So it's not a surprise. You're not thrown for a loop, because as much as you could plan everything, and for a lot of people, they never want to start till everything is perfect, but you can plan everything. I promise you that something is not going to go the way you thought it would. Doesn't mean the whole picture doesn't, or you still can't get to the end result. It means that there is going to be a challenge along the way. I absolutely know this without a shadow of a doubt. So you just have to say, okay, I'm going to do this. I remember the very first planner that I ever designed. I did it on a whim. I literally did it in 24 hours. I designed the entire thing, had it all out. Then I got it to my graphic designer so that she could actually take all my written notes and actually make something of it. And then I started calling and getting some quotes and on what would this cost to print, say 3,000 of these and this many pages on this pound of paper and blah, 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 and whatever the cover was going to be made out of. And the first couple of quotes that I got were like, oh my goodness, this is way more than I thought it was going to be. And I don't really have time to go get this manufactured overseas. I just need to find another place. So at first I wasn't going to do it because I was trying to do this last minute, and then I kept looking. So then I got another quote. It was after Christmas, and it was like the first week of January, and I got another quote from a publishing company, like actually not too far from me, and they gave me a quote that was awesome and that I could live with. And so then I'm okay, we're back on. So I already had the graphic designer working on it. And yeah, we didn't have it ready by January. We did not get that done until the end of February. But you know what? If I hadn't started it right then when it was so strong on my mind, it wouldn't have grown into being the really great planner that it is today, because I just never would have started. Each year we tweaked that out. We made it better. We listened to our customers. We added things that they really wanted. But if I hadn't have started somewhere, it wouldn't have gotten to where it is. That's just the truth of it. So you can't wait. And I did work out some things. And then I did, for the next year, I did work on finding a different manufacturer so that I could cut those costs a little bit. So those are the important things to do when you are thinking of an idea and it seems scary. So you're like, oh, I don't know if I can take this risk. So let's go over some more tips that can help you sort of really define what the risk might be. So start by defining, what does risk actually mean? Because your brain tends to treat it like uncertainty is danger, it's failure. It's like, oh my gosh, like what, instead of saying, well, okay, what could be the downside? Is that manageable? So trying something new it's scary, but it doesn't have to be threatening. So you need to learn what's the difference between being scared and having something threaten you. Most people feel danger. They feel threatened by thinking, what if everything goes wrong? And then they never step out on their ideas. So you have to learn the difference between being scared and being threatened. And they're different, but many times they're manifested in a way that allows you just to stay exactly stuck where you are. So is the downside manageable? That's what you really have to start looking at. Like, if this goes wrong, can I handle this? Is it manageable to overcome whatever obstacle this is? Number 2, separate real risk from perceived risk. So let's talk about what that looks like. Real risk is financial loss. If I do this and it flops, is this going to totally wipe me out, our whole family, and our whole entire life savings? Then you might want to look at this a little bit stronger. So what could this do to my health? Is this going to put extra pressure on me in a way that I won't be able to handle? What about time? Is this going to take away so much time from my family? Am I going to be able to manage it? Am I having to work my other job while I'm trying this new idea? So these are real risk factors. Time, money, and your health and how it's going to impact that. Those are real, okay? Perceived risks are embarrassment. Will I be embarrassed if it doesn't work out? What will people think? What if I try selling this and nobody wants to buy it? That's rejection. Looking inexperienced. People are going to think, who does she think she is trying to do this? She's never even done anything like this before. These are all perceived risks. And these are the ones that actually most people, they think through those other things and say, okay, we can handle this, or I can live with that, or, worst comes to worst, we will do this. This is what will happen. It's those perceived risks that you don't have an answer to. You do not have an answer to, because it's like, it's feelings. Am I going to feel embarrassed? Those are things that are like, that should not be stopping you from trying something. So separate real risk from perceived risk and learn that most people don't ever act on their great ideas or ever step out of their comfort zone because they let the perceived risk, not real risk, dictate what they choose to do. So that's going to be really important for you. Number 3 is focus on the process versus the outcome. I think that the biggest mistake that people make is they get an idea, and then instead of, okay, what's the process? What are the things I need to do to make this work? They go all the way to the end and say, okay, what if the outcome is this? What if the outcome is that? What's the outcome going to be with that? What am I going to do then? Like, they try to overthink what the outcome is going to be before they even get started. And so that's why it is so incredibly important to focus on the process versus the outcome. If you're really focused on just a great outcome, okay, because your outcome might be different than what you're thinking. And if you're just focused on that, then you're likely to not take the risk. Like, I don't know if I'm going to get there. Instead, what action do I need to take? Focus on your courage and that you can do hard things. And, and really say to yourself, do it scared anyway, which really leads us to number 4, and that is expect discomfort. Like, you're going to be scared. Even the most experienced entrepreneurs, you think, oh, they don't get scared, or they don't feel doubt, or they don't have worries. No, they've just learned that they're going to do it with having those feelings anyway. They don't let feeling override reality. That is the difference. So do I still get scared when I'm going to try something new? Do I have doubt? Do I even let it think, what are people going to think? And then I have to say, what do I care what people think? Is this important to me? Does it matter to me? Could this be a really great outcome for me and my family? Is that matter, or does it matter what somebody else thinks about what I'm doing, or thinks that I don't have the qualifications? Like, that's their life. They got their own family to worry about. So, like, I have to sit down and say, all right, stop, just stop. And my one big, I'm not the one that came up with this saying, but I say it all the time to my clients and to people that I coach. You have to do it scared anyway, because you're gonna be scared. So don't sit here and think, I'm gonna wait till I'm not afraid. So you do it afraid. You do it scared. You do it scared anyway. And you know what? As you start doing it and you start to get response and you start to get feedback and people are like supporting you, it's like all of a sudden a lot of that fear just starts to diminish. And then you start actually dealing with real action steps versus all these feelings that you're dealing with. And finally, you want to build a track record of your survived risks. So this is really good to just even keep it in a journal. Maybe if you're really afraid, write down when is some times that I took risks before and what was the outcome. And when you build a really good, strong track record on how you survived other risks, and even sometimes how you didn't, and was it the end of the world? And then you'll be like, okay, I got this. Because writing it out and seeing it and having that track record, you'll know that at least you can handle it. I can handle it. Because you know what? I'm smart. I have done good work in the past. I've survived other risks in the past. Even when everything fell apart, I still came out okay. I'm still here. I'm still standing, and I'm still creating businesses. And so, I can do this. So that's my advice for you today. And on Friday, we're going to talk about taking risks and getting out of your comfort zone with your health and your workout, because I think the number one reason, I know it was for me, that a lot of people don't really lean into working out is fear of the risk. Oh, what if I get hurt? What if I'm not able to do it? What are people going to think? I don't want to go to a gym. I'm going to look weird. I'm going to look funny. So that's going to be Friday. So I hope you'll join me, because taking control of your health and leaning into new ideas, taking risks, taking chances, doing things different could be the difference between a long, healthy life and one of discomfort. So we want to try to help you lean into that. Thanks so much, everyone. Hope you enjoyed today. Don't forget to subscribe, like, And please, if you enjoyed this today and there's someone that you think could benefit from this, please don't forget to share. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you on Friday.